Must be Saturday.
Saturday!
It's Saturday.
You know what that means? Say it!
No.
Say it!
It's the day we talk about adoption.
It's Adoption Day!
I'm not saying that.
Come on.
Go get a puppy.
Fine. Puppy!
We're talking with Jana Rupp now, who found us through the hashtag, because it's National Adoption Month, on the social medias, which are apparently pretty pervasive. And we're talking about adoption. She herself was adopted and has an adopted daughter. And if you're following this stuff, you know that Brett and I are adopted, and we're pretty happy about it.
What?
Brett's here. And we're trying to not make it too weird. Oh, my phone's going off.
Your phone keeps going
We're trying to not make it weird. So anyway, we're still talking about this idea of the search and what that means. You kind of got Brett and I's perspective on that last week, and we're actually going to let Jana tell a little bit of her story about that, and then we've got some more points that we're going to hit later on. So thanks for joining us for the vlog.
For the vlog? Wait, it's not the vlog.
Oh, thanks for joining us for... Yes, I'm adopted. Don't make it weird.
You kind of made it weird there by calling it the vlog.
So you did then, you went searching. What prompted that? What prompted you to want to search?
So crazy enough, I was 18. I was riding on an airplane to New York City for the first time by myself, sitting next to a man in his 60s, and he's scribbling on a pad, and he starts nervously talking to me. And said he was going to meet his birth mother in New York City for the first time ever. She was on her deathbed, dying of cancer. And he had been through this whole process that he told me the whole story, and I won't go into it. But he said, if you ever need help finding your birth parents, I'll help you. He told me something that really stuck with me. He said, I just decided I didn't want to pass this life without knowing who they were. And that phrase kept sticking in my head. And so about 2 years later, I started my own process. And that's what started it all, though, was meeting that psychologist on the airplane.
What was that process like? Did you have to, were there forums, or did you have enough to go on that you could kind of start searching someplace specific, or how did that work?
Yeah, so I was born in Montana, in Butte, and each state is different. And so the state law in Montana was you have to write a letter to the judge and just ask him if he will open your records. And so there were various reasons. I chose, will you open it for health reasons? I want to know my medical records. And so it was super easy. I think within 6 weeks, they responded back, the court, and said, yeah, you know, it's opened. We have granted you your petition to open your records. And then I could go in person and get my original birth certificate.
Right.
What I did.
Which was a bit of a surreal experience then?
It was. It was crazy. My mom actually worked in the courthouse back in the day. And so when my brother and I flew together, and he sort of just followed along, and we got to the courthouse and walked to the window, and I'll never forget, the ladies recognized us. She's like, well, hi, Jana and Jeff. It's been so long since I've seen you. And I had no idea who this woman was. And so that was kind of freaky. But I was like, yeah, can we, we're here to open our adoption records. And so she had the paperwork, and she just slid it across the desk. And it was so weird, because I'm like, this moment is happening, and it's just a piece of paper and a name. And that's what I got. And then so the next step was, well, what do we do with this? And she's like, look in the phone book, try that. And I guess people in Montana don't move much. So I was able to find him in the phone book. It was that easy for me. A very easy process. Yeah.
Did you find both of your parents, or was it just your father, or how'd that go about?
Yeah. So I found him first, my birth father, and he was pretty open to meeting me. I did contact that psychologist to make that first call, because I didn't want to be the one that called him. And so he did that for me, and my birth father then contacted my birth mother, because I didn't know her name. You know, she had a new name. And I ended up not meeting her for 20 more years.
Wow.
She had another set of fraternal twins 10 years after us.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
That's cool.
So we got replaced. No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
What was that experience like? Was that a super surreal sort of thing, or did you feel like it was I don't know, like an every. I don't feel like it can be an everyday sort of occurrence. But how'd you feel about that?
It was definitely surreal. It was exciting too. It was like, I don't think anything can replace that feeling of this is someone you're connected to. They're not your parent, but you're connected to them in a special way. And there's this 20-year mystery about who this person is. And of course I thought about him. You do. Adopted kids think about it. I think there's one of the researchers in that book you mentioned that said that 100% of kids search in their mind for their parents. So I thought about it. So it's for him to, I was nervous. And then when he walked in, I was like, well, wow, okay, there he is, and we hugged, we talked. It was pretty comfortable, so I don't know. It's hard to describe. It was very, very exciting. And I was glad I did it. It really was.
What advice would you give somebody who is kind of playing with the idea of searching? If they're going through the thought of fear, of rejection, anything like that. What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah. So that was a fear too. I definitely used humor to deal with that because I would be like, well, what if, before I knew who he was, I'm like, what if he's in prison? What if I'm So that's kind of scary because you tend to think the worst. You don't know what you're going to get. But I would say, know that for me, what I had to realize is what he was is not who I am. And yeah, there's some genetic similarities and stuff, but that it's not part of my identity.
Sure.
What he did with his life, or he did or didn't do, wasn't going to be me. I wasn't going to own that. And so I needed to know I had that separation in my mind before I went into it. I am me and he is him, and we're different people. So I think having the boundaries like that is really important for people in their head to prepare for that. If kids are having more struggling with that, they definitely want a parent around to help them if they're younger, or even a professional can help tease out some of that fear and some of that stuff that may come out.
That was amazing being able to hear from Jana. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We do have some other people that are interested in sharing their story because people have found us.
Internet.
Thank you,
Internets.
Internet, making people famous every day, whether they want to or not.
We just used up our 15 minutes and somebody else.
Yeah. So there are a lot of stories out there. Jana, she's interested and she wanted to go find her birth parents. We're still kind of on this whole subject because it is a very broad subject. It's a very deep subject for a lot of people.
But everybody processes this as they will. I think the important thing for us to think about is that, you're at this point, we're adults. And we have adult responsibilities, and we've got families and kids and other things to look after, as does Jana. And so all of the decisions that we make regarding adoption for how we're processing and what we're going through are going to be filtered through that lens. Mm-hmm. And, it would have filtered very differently if we were trying to tackle this as 15-year-olds,
yeah,
or
right.
19-year-olds, or, even in my 20s.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That would have been my answer pretty much to everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna go search?
Yeah.
What are we searching for? The world's
Puppies.
greatest cheeseburger.
What? Yes! Join us next week to find the world's greatest cheeseburger. Make sure that you guys tell us your story. Have you ever searched for your birth parents? Or if you're a parent of an adopted kid, have they ever brought this subject up? Put it in the comments below. Tell us your guys' story. Love to be able to start a dialogue with you. Check us out on Facebook and the Instagrams, because Instagrams is plural. If you did not know,
Multiple.
it is plural. Yeah. So, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, hey, yes, we're adopted.
Don't make it weird.
What?